Welcome, everybody, to our second Saturday's poetry reading. Those of you who don't know me, my name is Dan Kerr. I have the privilege of being your moderator for this monthly program hosted by local poet Kathy Donnelly. Please enter your names in chat if you want to participate in the open read. We will give everyone who wants to read one of their poems an opportunity to read. Please keep your microphone muted so we don't get the barking dogs and the ringing bells and the background noise. It's very distracting. And also feedback is a gift. So if you would like to, something we did well, something we did not do well, any way that we made you happy, any way that we disappointed you, please send me an email there, danielbkerr@verizon.net. Kathy and I always review the feedback, and we've been doing this now for over 4 years, but we're constantly revising it and refining it based on input we receive from the participants in this program. So I will kick it off for you. We're scheduled to go from 11 to 12. The random element is the number of people who would like to read and the lengths of their poems. So we may, so aspirationally, we'll go to 12. If necessary, we'll go a little bit later. We never go beyond 12:30, but directionally we'll be from 11 to 12. So I'll get you started. I'll turn you over to Kathy. Sheri Lynn, we're fortunate to have her as our featured poet today. She'll be our featured poet. After Sheri shares with us some of her poetry, then we'll have the open read, and we'll bring Sheri back for an encore, and then we will close the program. I recognize you're here for poetry, not for evangelization, but I will tell you that we do a number of things at All Souls that the poets do participate in. So this is baseball season, so we do have a double header tonight, in that we have poetry in the morning and in the afternoon at 6. There's Saturdays at 6 concerts. Tonight, we're going to have the Whitman String Trio. This is a group of musicians. 2 of the 3 are from the university. The 2 that are from the university started as graduate master students. They performed, they got their PhDs, they came back and performed, and now they are teachers in themselves, and they just really enjoy performing. So they'll be the entertainment tonight. That's tonight, Saturday's at 6 concert. These concerts, some of you may be here to see Sheri, and we welcome you. But bear in mind, we do this the second Saturday of every month. So you can set your watch by it. The second Saturday of every month at 11 o'clock, we will have the second Saturday poetry series. We also do Native American drumming here once a month as well. If you're more interested in learning about that, visit our website or just send me an email. This is a healing tradition, spiritual healing that comes out of the Native American experience. It's quite powerful. It's led by our Native American drummer, Dr. Rick Stadler. Once a year, we combine the poetry and our concerts and Native American drumming. We do a program called Conversations of the Sacred. And the formula here is Carolyn Emerson selects sacred poems from various religious traditions, spiritual traditions. And then each of the poems, which is read by the local poets, you'll recognize this list of poets here. These were the poets who read last year, starting with Carolyn, ending up with some guy named Dan Kerr. And you can see the others who read. They read one of the poems selected by Carolyn. Then we have a musical interlude, either by Dan Kinney on the All Souls Historical Urban Organ, which goes back to before the Civil War, or the 2 students from the university, or our Native American drummer. So you're all welcome to that. That is Saturday, September 6th this year. Also, once a year, we do a 5K race and a 2K walk. This does 2 things. One, it celebrates the role of the church in the community and all the things that we do to try to serve the community. Also raises funds to make the church accessible. When the building was designed by Stanford Wright in the 1890s, life expectancy in the US was less than 50 years. So some of us wouldn't have made the cut. And he had no concern whatsoever about accessibility. So we know that the church is at the top of a hill, which many people who are challenged can't make it up. And the church doesn't have a bathroom as well. So at some point, we ought to add a bathroom to the church. And so this program raises funds to make the church accessible and also raises funds to make the church have a bathroom attached to the church. This year's race is set for Sunday, October 5th. And you'll see a group of poets. You'll recognize Rabbi Fisher. You'll recognize Bruce and Kathy and Dr. Bronson there and Wendy. There's a group each year that walks in the race called the Live Poets Society. So if you can join us this year, we invite you to join us. And if you're going to walk with the Live Poets Society. Just look for those poets with their banner. Or if you want to run, you can run as well. Okay. So with that, again, I welcome you on behalf of the folks at All Souls, and I turn you over to our host, Kathy Donnelly. Kathy, they are all yours.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming this morning. There's not much else to do in this rain, so I'm hoping it's encouraging to write poetry today. In fact, I wrote a poem about it this morning, just dropped what I was doing and was inspired by the sounds of rain, that sound that tires make on the wet pavement and the sound of a car going through a puddle. It's very interesting when it's quiet in your own home and you can hear these things. I want to read a poem by a poet that grew up on Long Island in Nesconset. And because of that closeness that William Hayen has with Nesconset, he involves himself in many of the events here. I speak for myself, really. He's been in all three anthologies. He's an extraordinary person and professor up at Brockport, retired now. He's put a book together I thought I would share with you called Diaspora. And that's him. I'm reflecting my window, I'm sorry. There are 900 poems in this book. And I was trying, I'm trying to imagine 900 different ideas for poems. He's just incredible. And this is not including all the books that he has already published. Extraordinary, really. So I'm going to read to you a poem called Chairs. A caution in the direction for a chainsaw. Don't try stopping the chain with your hand. So why am I laughing unless because years ago I once reached towards my own chain? Saw's blade revolving with my wife's chemo. It was moving slowly, but stopped myself. Woke from my autumn woodcutting days in time. You know how autumn enters the mind? Golden leaf fall, migrations of mixed flocks of junios and blackcaps, the beauty of marginal milkweed, enclosing memory pods of summer monarchs. Time to unscrew the hose from the outdoor faucet, to put away my wife's chair from under the silver maple, to remember that in the entire first 5 books of the Bible, there's not one mention of a chair. Everybody is wandering in various deserts. Only one letter separates chair from chain. I got her chair into the shed where I stocked up for more face cords. The curious chickadees skittered close while my chain kept revolving, would maybe not stop by itself. I find it so interesting. He goes from one idea to another, the association that brings him to another idea. Extraordinary writer. So now I have the supreme privilege of introducing Sheri Lynn, who has over 50 works across dozens of wonderful local to international publications, including Miss Magazine, Chicken Soup for the Soul, Local Gems Press, Nassau County Poet Laureate Society, Poemanak Transition, also a co-editor, Performance Poet Association, Poetry Bay, Long Island Quarterly, Post for Haiti, Spilled Ink, Virginia, The Long Islander, Walt's Corner, the North Sea Poetry Scene Press, Virginia Writers Journal, Right by the Rails, Wide Sid Press, and more. Dream, Believe, published her chapbook, Nature's Breath, in both print and ebook formation in 2020. Visit Breathe Insights. Did I say that right? Sheri, Insights?
It's Breathe Insights. Yeah.
Breathe Insights.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.com for more on her radio and keynote appearances, publications, and for a place to meditate. Sheri Lynn is a member of the Long Island Poetry Collective, the Poetry Society of Virginia, the Virginia Writers Club, and Right by the Rails. leads weekly poetry discussions for UUCSR, and is a social justice advocate who is grateful to family and friends and the poetry community for encouragement on the artistic journey. So this is a small piece of what Sheri does, and I'm so proud to have her here. She's a gem of a human being as well as, and beautiful as well as everything else. Welcome, Sheri Lynn.
Thank you so much for that, Kathy. Thank you all for being here. I'm very much looking forward to hearing your art in the open read. And I'm so honored that Kathy and Dan invited me back here again. And just great to see so many faces, and including my daughters here. So with that, I'll get started. And almost all but one of the pieces are pieces that were recently published, like within the last 6 months. The first one is called Poets Pollinate, Governor's Island, New York City Poetry Festival, and it appears in the Empire Poetry Verse 2025. It feels I am upon an iceberg floating aside Lady Liberty, separating from Bradbury Park, where a mosaic of hues gleam under the shadows of giants, emitting sonar ripples penetrating my soul, with fervor traveling this sage-glazed sea. Sonic swells reveal vibrancies when versifiers drop their seeds, as we crunch upon dry grass fields framed by ivy-wrapped hollow barracks, as each voice is a becoming manifest, a wildflower grove of revered intimacies. Festive discourse rouses magic swirls as vocal echoes paint the air, posing provocative intrigues, dreams, yearnings, while I sow gratitude for this belonging, imbued by beaming euphonies in the city of many sleeps. Thank you. This next piece appeared in the Nova, that's in Virginia, Bard's Annual 2024. And where I moved is beautiful. There's hikes and trails, and it is also, however, a large-scale development construction site building a train station, a town, and a community by the Potomac River. So this poem is called The Woods Cried Today, and was inspired by my many hikes. The woods cried today with eerie screeches from birds or trees or wild animals, or all of them as one shrill, jarring choir. Did they see bulldozers, trenchers, excavators, dump trucks, backhoes, cement trucks lined up in the field preparing for battle? The same artillery used on thousands of adjacent acres, ripping, clear-cutting centuries of rooted life, with careless disregard turning survivors to desert refugees, annihilating all that life. As if the trees, mosses, wildflowers, deer, fox, raccoons, birds, spiders, bees, butterflies were never there at all, except for this lingering dung stench wafting rot, decay, and loss. The woods rustled today. Their upside-down leaves signaled go home, with looming storm presaging wrath, and I pictured Rachel Carson. How do I get the Senate to act, save the earth, air, rivers, and seas? See the warnings I see in you with these chemical pesticides contaminating your home, threatening irrevocable pollution. The woods whispered today, and I heard, be still, felt Harriet Tubman. Shh, don't move, don't make a sound. They are coming on horseback, we are downwind. The trees will hide us, ignore pain and driving rain. Trust the forest. Trust me. I never lost a passenger, and I won't lose you. The woods whooshed today. not with sweet flutes, but with wounded hearts, when wintered souls thirst for a spring of bloom and births, within arid soils, nests and burrows, needing warmth, water, clean air, and for us to care.
Mm.
Thank you. So the next couple of pieces fall under my advocacy heading, I would suppose, and I share them as art and don't presume others agree with my point of view. And the first piece is called Prams for Peace, and it appears in the All the Women Came and Sang Anthology 2025. 1. Carts, prams, strollers, carriages, lined up at train stations, some with blankets or toys or supplies for Ukrainians to use during their bombing escape. Lined up in rows in Lviv Rynok Square, hollow prams to represent each precious child murdered by this war. 2. A new mother sat on a train floor, her breasts aching with milk, her body in need of food, water. Without enough diapers, she sat stoic, listening to children cry, "My daddy, stay behind." After debarking, laden with belongings and carrying a baby, a soldier met her eyes, gave her water, bread, a pram. A first-time mother, a half-world away, whose toes and soles bled, skin burned, body, teeth, bones decaying from hundreds of miles walked, carried a newborn under a merciless sun. Each step brought her closer to death without water or food or rest. A teenage girl crammed on a brittle wood plank boat adrift. In a black raging sea, no water to drink, contemplated, sipping salt drops. With tearless grit in her eyes, clutching her soundless brother. 3. Fear of bullets, thrashings, whips, or walls were less dangerous than fates left behind, protecting precious bundled souls, infants who know not of inhumanity. A mother's love could end wars, greeting each other with water, respite, warmth, and prams for peace.
Mm.
Thank you. This piece appears in the Bard's Annual 2024. It's called An Epic Wound. Quote, "History is nothing if not an epic tale of missed opportunities," unquote, Graydon Carter. There is no one left to see, but he sees what he's become, what was lost under swelling charcoal skies in mirrored distortion. His knees fall into wet grit where a wide river laps and dissipates, blood dripping from his burdened decay, replaying home, home, home. Could this collapse become a baptismal moment, with fate allowing a request for forgiveness, a restored belief in redemption, with time turns yielding possibility? Grabbing fists of muck, he grasps at nothingness, wails, "Why didn't I do more? Why didn't I protect our homeland before the plague signs of idleness let fascism win?" Torrents of unheard pleas, home, alarmed him into a warrior stance, a renewed sense of duty. Thundering from his pained chest, shed regret, bend memory into purpose, for freedom battles again begin.
Mm.
Thank you. This one is the only one that isn't published and is a brand new one called Us. My workshop folks that are here know this poem because they just heard it. They clap for the leader of a democratic nation facing war, stand in deafening silence as the other defying democracy passes. We are caught. like fish in a net under a driving rainstorm of shame as our freedom is steamrolled, leaving treads upon people with lives and loved ones and once safe homes. With dismissive, wounding, and destructive, careless claims in vain attempts to bolster that name while we writher for breath in preserving freedom's reign. I extend my umbrella wide, welcome you, everyone, anyone, no matter how voted or not, who will join as we march chants of independence, ready to create the life our ancestors fought for, that we may have liberty and justice and humanity and peace for all today. Thank you. I'm going to switch gears and share two, I guess you would call them more personal poems. And they both, I had a few pieces chosen. I picked two for today in the To Be Completely Honest anthology 2024. This first one is called A Return to the Scene, and an earlier version earned a lovely third place honor from Lila, Princess from Kankama, led by Judy. There's no chalk outline on the sidewalk, no yellow tape marking a perimeter, yet wisps of rancid aroma sting my eyes. I am a ghost approaching this place in slow motion while people of diverse intentions and their purposeful gaits live on unaware. Paralysis threatens invasion, presses this burden building in my chest, years lapsing into mere seconds, when for a brief moment, a familiar face catches my alarmed eyes, near fading to black, sends an empathetic knowing from across the room, a gift under the sun's welcoming grace, releasing shackles, arresting this imprisoned pace, urging a new found life to lead and sorrow go. Thank you. And the other one is called Are You Ready to Continue? Words I never heard, clinging to a tapestry of silks, interwoven with barbed wire threads, mocking and pricking, shame stitching my lips shut. Believing safety was best found existing as wallpaper camouflage. Failing to believe Kit's due process aftermath could possibly provide refuge. Did you fight back, try to escape? Did you say no? As if these were unexplored options. Yet, for far too long, guilt plagued, knowing my knotted psyche may have contributed to predator wakes. And so, I hold hearts like mine in candles lit, in poems written at podiums and vigils and marches, not in pity, in solidarity, in purpose, because we are not our worst wounds or ordeals or survival tactics, walking unique healing paths, becoming ready to continue. Thank you. This next poem intends to be experiential. It's proposing a remedy journey of sorts, and we'll see how it works. It was published in Right by the Rails, Glint of Light Biennial Anthology 2025, and it's called Scarcity. Scarcity of quiet, of possessions, of time, of food, of safety, of hope, of love. The sun rises in a meadow, revealing diamond dew gems beaming from wildflower petals under a frost mist swirl for us to see. Inhale, hold sacred. My fingers entwine with yours, our toes extend upward upon soft green moss, as pellucid dragonfly wings sweep and breezy weeping willows whoosh. Within that untouchable space between nature and time, suspending our existence of being. Gratitude seeding, scarcities unraveling.
Mm.
Thank you. This piece, an original version of this piece, appeared on WRHU Hofstra Radio with Paula Kirchie in 2022. It's called We Can Be Heroes. My sexy muse has a voice of an angel, saunters, circles those hips, stares into my soul, makes hair on my arms stand with lyrics and tones, setting my heart to cry. As crying befell, when Capitol officers testified about insurrection death marking inflicted in horror on their heroic souls after years of service. We weep and weep. As poets, lyricists, artists, citizens try to comprehend, navigate the murk of how we got here, try to shift the weight of it all from siloed canoes where masks come down and all that's left is nakedness of circumstance. When a winter darkness tries to play its mind tricks, drag us, except we've been here before. We can dance this gig, play trumpets out windows, ring bells at 7, wait to hear the latest tolls while heroes heal, cry, say goodbye, as some of them die. And that is a tragedy even Shakespeare didn't portray. Yet here we drift astray. Can we just not betray heroes today? What do you do when a loved one won't or can't register to vote and mourns quiet? These tears riot in places. Helplessness knocks on this door. Knowing purpose must push, paint these cheeks with a rosy blush. Let peace lanterns heal pain with freedom's brush. Because we've been here before. Can't let the boats tip, plug the holes, lift the sails. Sharks swirl, tempt, retreat. Hearts, thank goodness, still beat. Yes, we can dance this gig again. Voice, hopeful light in. With a chance to reimagine, find a new sexy muse. Be the heroes. Heroes need us to be. Thank you. This piece is called And Nature Hums Carry On, and it appears in the Nassau County Poet Laureate Society as an editor's choice in volume 11, 2024. What is belonging, really? Do any of us feel assured in the nakedness of being true? This blue sky with its etched white billows floating their messages to guide hearts through aches before a wintered frost threatens tender toes from dipping into river ripe ice unknowns, where vulnerability is as translucent as butterfly wings. Yet a crisp air inhale and maybe an urge to twirl under soft falling snow, hearing the faint hums birds, trees, and seas cast, invites healing in this connected web of presence. And without meaning to, nature melodies play on despite the busyness of our day, bringing peace and love colors to where the sky reminds possibilities are ever waiting. Thank you. And the last poem before we move to the open read is called Cosmic Alchemy. And this appears in the Nassau County Voices 2025. It's born of a meditation, so you may hear some tones to that. And most of my poems are, but this one definitely gives a nod to that. Cosmic Alchemy. A faint violet mist swirls from behind bold gold bolts. A spectral emanation paints this night sky, inviting us to where love lives and trust wants to be. But fear deepens these chasms, leaving us deaf to mortal cries and blind to this evanescent plea. Isolation gasps for connection. Promises fall off cliffs, and grips to thorns feel better than blowing around untethered when justice is injustice during this Orwellian captivity. Perhaps intuitive sight bids choice in spaces between intention and reaction, forgoing cravings to control even as masses surround, pound pleas of hope coming from one corner, contempt testing its threats from another, each unable to reach the swaying punching bag of truth as we witness scars rupturing, chaos rousing, mercy numbing, gold bolts, violet mist. Our pain hot knotted hands extend upward. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheri. That was moving. It's amazing that you packed so much into 11 poems. The beginning with the poets pollinate, you could hear the poet's voice, and I liked how you said we were dripping seeds there, and those seeds of truth you can hear them throughout your poems. The poem about the woods cried today was just so beautiful and so painful. We had an experience here in Stony Brook where they destroyed a large part of the forest. And I remember Vivian Fisher writing a poem about that with the smell of death in the air when all the trees were knocked down and all the animals were dislocated. And that beautiful poem about the prams for peace, all those different characters that you captured in there. And then all the call to activism. That's so clearly a theme in your poetry, the open wound and us, and then the one about returning to the scene, in terms of how years can lapse by in seconds, and the vision of the barbed wire that you had in Are You Ready to Continue, and the scarcity of quiet and food and love, and how we could all be heroes. Again, another your sexy muse, and the mask coming down and calling upon all of us to become heroes. So, and then carrying on, and also just the last poem there, the cosmic one about want to go with a place where love lives and trust wants to be. That's certainly a better world than we live in aspirationally than we are today. So we thank you for all of that. And now we'll move on to the open read. So we do have some new folks with us here. So what we're going to do for the open read, I've asked you if you want to read, put your name in chat. As of right now, we got about 16 of you in chat, which is great. And if you haven't put your name in chat and you want to read, please put it in now. And we will make sure between Kathy and myself that anyone wants to read gets a chance to read. Please only one poem. Please only one poem. We got a lot of poets that want to share a poem. So please only one poem, and please no poem more than 5 minutes. This venue just doesn't lend itself to long poems. Please keep your microphone muted because it's you may not realize it, but there's a lot of background noise, which the poet finds distracting, and the rest of us find distracting as well. So the only mic that should be on when one of the poets reads is their poem. Okay, so we'll proceed now to the open read, and then we'll call Sheri back for an encore, and then Kathy will close the program. So we will do the open read in orders of 3, and Marvin always gets the pole position. So our first group of 3 is Marvin, followed by Nicola, followed by James from North Carolina. So James, I know your camera's not working. Don't worry about it. You can read without your camera. Okay, so Marvin, Nicola, and then James. So Marvin, over to you first.
Okay, Denzel Washington is playing Othello, and Jake Gyllenhaal is playing Iago on Broadway. So this is my poem, Othello, Moor of Venice. Corrupted by the green-eyed, cuckolded by your doubts, you have been led to the marital bed to execute justice, to perform the ritual of the rite, upon the wife who went astray with your faithful lieutenant. O betrayal, your two closest stained the office of trust, while your lowly ancient, high now in your esteem, warned you of their infidelity. How faithful that man! His misgiving aside, he led you to this moment when she dreams of her love, and you awake, knowing it is another. She cuddles in her hopes for tomorrow. How nightmarish! Now you're ignorant no more. Your soul joy turned to dust, smothered, choked, strangled by this trumpet's call to similarity. How black you must be to her, alien in age and manners, but now you will put out the light and silence that breath that was once so sweet. You brave the storms for the sense of it. Horned man, you must do what you have to do for honor's sake. That's it. That's it. More pressure. More.
Thank you, Marvin. Okay. Nicola, over to you.
Unmute. Okay. Thank you, Sheri, for sharing your poems with us. I enjoyed that. This one is actually the first of a quartet. Don't worry, I will not dream of reading all four. The quartet is called The Way of the Pilgrim, and this one is called Walking to Compostela. I heard a cuckoo as I walked along, the first of the year, a herald of summer to my northern ears. Spring flowers raise their modest heads in wayside banks, beside the path still muddy from the last night's rain. For this time I walk alone, past farmyards of squawking hens. Housewives brew fresh coffee. Its smell reminds me that I have not eaten yet. In a nearby field a lonely donkey brays. Soon I will be joined by others, fellow pilgrims walking this way, following in the footsteps of those who went before. What burdens do they carry? What griefs? What cherished hopes? Or are they merely curious, travellers not knowing what they seek? Convention says you do not ask. The way goes on, past damp ferns and tinkling streams, water bright as sunlight, cool as chastity, soothing to my aching feet. The path leads on, an urban landscape choked with fumes. There is hardship here, but beauty too. A mother gently rocks her son, crooning soft words of love and better days to come. We hurry on, disturbed by the contrast. This place is not for us. Then we see it, standing proud in its open square, the great cathedral dedicated to St. James, its honeyed stone a testament to a people's faith, a tribute to a monarch's wealth and power. We enter through the door of mercy, open wide in this year of Jubilee. They say our sins will be absolved when we pass through. We enter in with hope. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicola. Okay. James, over to you. James, give him a second. Okay, looks like James, I see James there. James, give you one more chance. Okay, we'll come back to James at the end if he gets his mic back on. Okay, so the next group of three will be Claude, JR, followed by Dr. Bronson. So Claude, over to you. Claude, remember to put your mic on. Okay, we'll give Claude a second. Okay, so JR, why don't we go to you? And while we're waiting for Claude and we're waiting for James.
Okay, terrific. Thank you. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Kathy, for keeping up some poetry. Thank you, Sheri Lynn. What a wonderful reading. And oh, thanks for the nod to Princess. I miss Princess. And congrats, because you're in this book too. We had We had a book launch 2 weeks ago for Nassau County Voices in Verse. We had almost 100 people. And so in East Meadow Library, that was just amazing. And so, so this is my poem. Casting a Spell. I closed the tent flap behind me as instructed and sat in the chair opposite Madame Tigani. Putting the cash on the scarf-covered table, her bangles jangled as she whisked the money into her lap. Candle flame saltated. You want him to love you, yes? Yes, I stammered, very much. She unfolded the $100 bill and smiled. She added a few drops of liquid this and that to a small bottle and shook it. Glimmering swirls in flickering candlelight mesmerized me. Give him half of the bottle before he eats and the other half after, but don't wait too long, within a half hour. The next morning, he will be infatuated with you. Now go. I drooled my thanks and left, giddy with anticipation. He arrived at 6, as I suggested. We had cocktails on the back deck before a gourmet meal I catered special. I served Cherry's Jubilee with espresso, and we sat watching a Netflix movie. He fell asleep. I tiptoed into the kitchen, disposed of the potion bottle before waking him to go home. He grumbled, but left. I waited for him to call the next morning, then all day, nothing. I was beginning to think Madame Tigani was a fraud when the phone rang. Police. Accident last night. He was dead. Autopsy showed he was poisoned. I was arrested for murder. At the trial, his wife sat in the front row. It wasn't a resemblance. It was Madame Tigani. Thank you.
Thank you, JR. Okay, so Claude, we'll give you another chance if you want to come join us. You got to turn your mic on, Claude. Claude, there should be a little microphone icon.
Yep,
You made it.
I knew. I had to go to the bathroom, you know. Okay, so I know a lot of you know who Louis Auchenglass is, and he writes about the upper class, especially in New York. So this is for one of his characters. His name is Adrian Peltz. I can sit on the board. I can launch a rumor. I can overcome destitution. I can randomize convolutions that confuse the scientist, the statistician. I can activate the truth. I can finance institutions that better the fate of idealists, that can alter the downfall of minimalists perched on the periphery of ambition, wherein I prosper at the center, donating to food banks and homeless shelters, praised for my benevolence, worshipped for my empathy. Though I have my doubts about my ageless vision sometimes, I stand at my penthouse window, watching the hurrying city below. People peacelessly plowing the snow, freezing in the rain, cannibalizing the minutes that fly past as their souls deteriorate. I in a position to help the unfortunate. See the golden towers built atop the skyscrapers. My advice not always taken by the desperate gamblers, learning very slowly that their affairs could suddenly be torn asunder. Their rustling crux twisting in vain. I offering my model of tantamount luxury, which can be attained with diligent dedication. My wealth spread about sustainable projects, beautiful parks, giving, essential to my personality, often anonymously done, puffing out my chest inside my velvet vest, observing man's tottering evolution as I invest in what's best for a misled population, mumbling in their lattes, selling crypto coins on their telephones, jealously sequestering the dreams they can't disclose.
Thank you, Claude. Well done. Okay, Dr. Bronson, over to you.
Hello, everyone. And so a few years ago, I decided to write a poem for each month that somehow reflected the mood of the month for me. And since we're in June, I was going to read June. June. June evening at Lloyd Harbor. The west wind is howling. It blows from the mouth of the setting sun. Halyards clang in puffs of day's last expiration, toll the coming of night. Clad in black neoprene, propelled through driving waves by diving fins, you yield to the call of open water. The shore recedes into dusk. Don't look back. Swim wild, swim free. Follow your animal self. Race the rising moon. Grasp evening's first star. And in the wind, wet waters, become a creature of the sea.
Okay, the next group of three is Dan Kerr, followed by Bob H., followed by Barbara. So Dan Kerr is up first. So Dan Kerr already has his microphone on. So many of you know my brother Michael died in last September, and we finally had the memorial service for him on Saturday. And I actually led the service. And my brother was not an active church grower, but he was baptized, he was confirmed, and we grew up. My mother was a very devout Roman Catholic. So I got the family Bible, and I wanted to do at least 2 readings from the family Bible. And I'm thumbing through the family Bible. Those of you familiar with the Bible, I wanted to select the 23rd Psalm, though I walk through the valley of death. And then that was the Old Testament reading. And the New Testament reading was from John about in my father's house. My father's house, there are many rooms. So I thought that was appropriate for my brother. And I'm making my way through the Bible looking for the 23rd Psalm. And what do I find in my mother's Bible but a poem written by my sister, Bonnie Cassidy, who many of you remember years ago was quite active in the poetry community, the Kerouac Festival at Gunther's. And it was a poem written to my mother on the occasion of her birthday in 1985. So there it was standing in me. When I got to Deuteronomy, there it was. And it's a poem from my mother, which actually made part of the service for my brother. Here it goes. A poem from my mother, April 1985. My mother's birthday was April 14th. Poem from my mother. Today you called to say, how are you? And I can't almost be 46 and you 70 in April. We only started out. Each time we talk, our words get closer. Thank you, Mom. The older we get, the more the same. Even when we disagree, we don't somehow, having learned to curb the more extreme differences of opinion. What could be better than to talk, to exchange and share? Thank you for being there and for sharing my life and my children and giving me brothers and sisters and daddy to love. Happy birthday with all my love, Bonnie Jane. Thank you. Okay, Bob H., over to you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Sheri Lynn and Daniel and Kathleen. This is called Tricycles and Bicycles. Just 4 years old, and oh, so bold. Moving up from a tricycle to 2 wheels of a bicycle. Dad tells you to get ready and holds you to stay steady. As you pedal, he lets you free, but falling you skin your knee. Tears start to fall and Dad sighs. But with his help, you retry. A few more falls and a couple of close calls. You're pedaling on your own, smiling in your comfort zone. No more trikes, now big boy bikes. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Okay. Barbara, over to you. Barbara, you got to put your mic on. I can see your face, but you got to turn your mic on.
There it is. Okay, there it is. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Kathy. Thanks, Sheri Lynn. And next week, I will be performing one of Sheri Lynn's poems at our Poetry of Resistance event. So since I'm leaving shortly to go to a No Kings protest, I'm going to do something that's kind of political. It's a grand old flag, it's a high-flying flag, and forever in peace may she wave. Plant the flag, wave the flag, capture the flag, flag pin, tattered flag, upside-down flag, distressed flag, false flag. It's the emblem of the land I love, the home of the free and the brave. Who deserves a flag? A Gold Star mother who's lost her son, a hero behind enemy lines who's on the run. But we're not at war now, except for a made-up one. Pitting the many immigrants who work hard against riot-geared troops of National Guard. Who deserves a flag? I remember my mother as the bugler played taps, the color guard folding the colonel's flag, putting it on her lap. Solemn moments of personal history, weeping with pride and somber mystery. Or the 300 paratroopers from Fort Bragg's 82nd Airborne, jumping out of the night sky in waves as me, an Army brat in the USO, greets them with a flag and thanks them for sacrifices made. Where there's never a boast or brag. Well, yes, there was bragging and goading hand-picked photogenic soldiers in Fort Bragg into booing former Constitution-abiding presidents. Or our Cold War classrooms where we said the pledge, then practiced duck and cover under every desk and ledge. It's a grand old flag. These images of Americana have gone from Norman Rockwell to Orwellian. As a would-be king morphs peaceful protest into an open rebellion, calling in the Marines now for more support, furthering imagined threats and truth that distorts. Meanwhile, across this great land, tanks and troops line the rainy capital streets, watching our tax dollars spin off a helicopter rotor to scare and subdue every potential voter. The whole world is watching us as he guts our Constitution, rips open the heart of every institution, who's showing his true colors now. Every heart beats true for the red, white, and blue. Resistance starts with us, me and you.
Barbara, stick around for my poem.
Okay, it's fine. Okay, let's go now. We're going to do Randy and Shu and Mike and Don. I didn't see your name, but I know you have something to say, so I'm going to add your name to the list. We'll get to you later. Okay, so Randy, over to you.
Okay. This is called Her Shadow of Spite. It's kind of in honor of single mothers, my mom being one of them. By the way, somebody's pointed out to me that this is a little bit like William Blake's A Poison Tree, and having only been writing for a year, I have never read his poem. So anyway, Her Shadow of Spite. Resentment born, I sow a seed, irrigate aggressively. Aggrievement ages saplings to trees, creating fruit on which I feed. I have good grounds, his touch abhorred, yet little power I'd lose in court. My name maligned, though whispers o'er. 2 kids to feed, too scared, too poor. My tree matures till apples array, but casts a shadow instead of shade. collect my crop, review my fate, while savoring my harvest of hate. Spite's branches spread, eclipsing sun, its roots entwine my limbs. I'm stunned. Restrained by wrongs that I've rerun, I mourn the darkness I've become. To free my kids from fruit bestowed, I axe the tree of revenge in my soul. Like seed to tree, forgiveness is slow, but one day an oak of grace will grow. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. Well done. Okay, Shu, over to you.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I got a short one. This one is untitled. Life fades with each sunrise and every sundown. Death was waiting quietly anywhere in between. Thank you.
Thank you, Shu. Okay. Over to the North Carolina contingent, Mike.
Morning, everyone. In honor of Flag Day, I've decided to read a poem from my second book of poetry. It's called My Old Flag. The flag sits folded in my den, the stars just 48, for it's a flag from way back when my father met his fate. I never ever knew the man, for I was then but 3, and anything but pictures is a long lost memory. He was an Air Force pilot. His plane was there, then gone. No enemy activity that they knew of going on. They never found the wreckage. They just declared him dead. So when the search was over, Mom got this flag instead. That's almost all that's left of him, and I'm not one to brag. But my father gave his life for it. I'm proud of my old flag. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Very kindly. Okay. So, Don, if I missed you when you were originally on the list, I apologize. If you didn't put your name on it, you're forgiven. But over to Don.
Thank you, Dan. I was having terrible computer problems this morning, and I sent a message I wanted to read, but I don't know if I guess you didn't get it. Anyway, this is a comment on our time. It's called All About the Fear. Should I fear you? Let us count the ways. Will a team of government goons, guns drawn, ICE and FBI emblems showing, break into my home, trash the place, walk off with my phone, laptop, and cash? Or will they take me off to an airport, off to a prison somewhere? You might say you're a citizen. Say it's a mistake. That's okay. It doesn't matter. It's all about the fear for others to fear. Do you fear they will defund your child's school or gain control of what his college teaches? Do you fear medical research funding canceled? Vaccines lost, Medicare, Medicaid defunded. Do you fear reckless tariffs if everything will cost more? Do you fear judges being arrested? If the Justice Department forgets what justice is, in fear, they look the other way. Do you fear Congress forgets its oath of office to defend the Constitution? Perhaps they fear they will lose their jobs, their donations, replaced by primary election, by a local sycophant. I have a fear our country is going down because of fear. Are you thinking I'll be silent? Perhaps they won't come for me. Do you fear to protest at a demonstration? Be fearless. Watch what you say. Free speech is tricky in America. Be fearless. Democracy dies in silence. FDR once said, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Perhaps as well, the government goons coming in the night.
Thank you, Dan. Okay.
Ruth and I are off to a protest.
Okay. Have fun. All right. So let's look around the room here and see if there's anyone else. Ophelia, did you want to read? Or Tony? Okay, got Tony. Anyone else want to read? Just wave your hands. Kathy, the only one I see waving is Tony, which would be a welcome addition. Tony, go ahead. Come on off mute and let's hear you.
Off mute. Hi, everyone. Sheri, wonderful, wonderful. Right, I sent it in the comments, but so hopeful, joyful, and just so much inclusion there. So I love your work. So I'm going to read a short poem. Today's Flag Day, and the poem is called Birthright. It's a pretty new poem. Birthright. We bought flags and planted stars and stripes on our lawn. We brought 20% off Memorial Day coupons with us to Six Flags, New Jersey. We waited on long lines in the sun for all the best rides. Quickly crossed ourselves as we sat, knee to knee with safety bars secure. We raised our arms high, plunging, free-falling, screaming. We sang, "Bye, bye, Miss American Pie," in the car on the way home, until our throats went dry, until our eyes grew tired and shut, all of us but one, open-mouthed, dreaming. We agreed to return for Star-Spangled Night, July 4th. By then, we'll build up the courage to race to the sky. On the Flash, a super boomerang coaster, the fastest on Earth. Who could grow tired of so much excitement? How could we not crave this adrenaline rush, our birthright and privilege, our hard-earned mirth? Look back, for sure we will when we are older. We'll be silver pass holders by then. After our children's children are born, we'll buy flags and plant stars and stripes on our lawn.
Thank you, Tony. Well done. Okay. Kathy, would you like to read? Kathy, you got to come off mute if you do.
Sorry, forgot about that. Ophelia, did you want to read? Ophelia?
I'm sorry.
Do you want to read? You're on mute, Ophelia. You're on mute.
I'm sorry. I'm having a little trouble with my voice, but I will read some.
I would love that.
Is that all right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And thank you, Sheri Lynn. It's a pleasure. Thank you. Farewell. Dawn breaks, birds chirp, roosters crow. The light of a new day finds my face, slips through my eyelashes. Church bell rings. Accompanied by a guitar, a neighbor sings a lullaby. The loving hand of my abuela strokes my hair. I open my eyes. She gives me a gift from abuelo, a Cupid doll, a notebook, a box of crayons. After a long silence, my abuela says, "Time to go home. Your mama and papa have reconciled. They miss you. Stay sweet and smart. Keep us in your heart. Remember to add summer colors to our black and white portraits."
Thank you, Ophelia. Well done. Okay. Kathy, over to you.
Thank you. I just, thank you, Dan, for what you do here. And it's very organized. Can't help but notice. And Sheri, I just want to compliment you again. Your poems are so heartfelt. I think of all the things that you describe so incredibly well. Your cry for justice is, or cries about injustice, so profound. And it just tells me so much of who you are. Proud to know you. I'm going to cry. All right. So I wrote this again this morning. I was just working and I looked out the window and wrote this poem. So, many a poem in a workshop will be begun with please understand this is a rough draft or a first draft. So just an ounce of humility. A book day. This is a perfect day to read a book. All the windows are open to the outside rain. I hear the sounds of cars driving through puddles and the sound tires on wet pavement. I need the light on into the day, still in my pajamas. I've spread all my self-appointed work on the floor, feel a thrill when something is attended to, a check on my to-do list. Yay! I'll put my iPods in, play my favorite rock and roll band, dance in whatever room is private, look like I have St. Midas disease. Time doesn't matter. The clock is on hold. If my eyelids close, I'll rest. Hungry, eat. Phone rings, chat. It is a day to myself, rare and precious.
Thank you, Kathy.
So that's my little poem. I'll work on it. And we're going to introduce Barbara Novak. Ready for that?
Oh, no, not. We want to bring Sheri back for
Oh, Sheri back. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Okay, you're forgiven. Get it. Reservoir of goodwill built up. Sheri, go ahead. Sheri, you got to return.
Sorry.
Yep. All good. Thank you all so much for sharing your art. I feel like these open reads, it's like little butterflies are visiting, and I'm always so moved by everybody's art. So thank you for sharing and for being here. For this last piece, it's as much a poem as it is a nature meditation. So I invite you to picture anything that's beautiful to you in nature, and hopefully this will inspire you. It's called Earth Heart, and the letters in Earth and the letters in Heart are the same. Fun fact, this was just published in the Virginia Writers Club Journal 2025. Quote, winter always turns into spring, unquote, Gautama Buddha. Rain of spirit, nurture each delicate seed of love within our open, aching hearts. Wind of spirit, reveal this interdependent earth. May it be without judgment or expectation. Songbird of spirit, sing, not of who or what hurts, rather trill kindness from which we may heal. Light of spirit, illuminate compassion from the wholeness, hope, and trusts. Honeyed balm of spirit, cultivate grace and mercy, sweetening air breaths with inspired insight and joy. One rainfall, one breeze, one warble, one sunrise, one breath at a time. Thank you again so much.
Kathy, you want to introduce Barbara?
Well, simply, yes, this is Barbara Novak. She's a professor at Malloy University. She's lovely. She's an example of needing Zoom because she's going to come she would be coming to Queens, from Queens if we were in person, but we're on Zoom. So now she can roll out of bed, get over to her computer, and be with us for the hour next month. Writer in residence, English professor at Malloy University, founded and hosts the on-campus reading series poetry event. And I can read on, but essentially we will talk about her more next month. Just try to make it because she is a lovely experience.